All right, welcome to this edition of Community News. This edition of Community News is going to be a little different. Just this week, I had just learned of a passing of a colleague of mine who a lot of people had been aware of and been affiliated with this individual. All you former students at Gatesbrook Junior High, all you former students at Eastern Shore District High that went to Gatesbrook Junior High from 1994 to 1999, a teacher at Gatesbrook Junior High who you have been affiliated with had passed away. Uh, he was just more than just a school teacher to myself. We actually became friends away from the classroom after when he retired. He spent 14 years with the Halifax Regional School Board as a teacher, and he served several years in the Armed Forces, in the Air Force, before he became a school teacher. And that individual was Mr. Arnold Landry. He'd been battling leukemia for a while. I believe it was prostate cancer. I mean, I got to know his wife, Sharon, and Arnold away from the school. And I remember, we used to hang out. We were talking to each other either at Tim Hortons or passing through the mall or on the side of the road someplace, walking, going by with our stuff. And me and Arnold became friends away from the classroom. And when Arnold, passed away, I didn't know that he was gone until December 20th. And I got to say, he was a good person. I kind of figured he had passed on because I have not heard from him in quite some time. And I got to say, we all have our time to go, but if there's any person in the world that is a good person in general, Arnold Landry was that person. I mean, we all come across people who we don't like. We all come across people who we like, but yet we don't like them at the same time. And there's a few people that is just a good person in general. And Arnold Landry was that person. I mean, Arnold told me stories about former classmates, former students who he used to have. And he told me, he said, Adam, I loved every minute of it. I said, if I could go back and do it again, I'd do it again. And he said, Adam, life to me is a dream, and I just hope that this dream never ends. And I mean, me, when I get out of high school, I couldn't get out the door fast enough. I could not get out the door fast enough. And there's a lot of things in the world that makes me question things the way they are and why they're the way they are and why they shouldn't be. And when I look back at Arnold Landry, here's a guy that never complained about nothing. He loved every minute of every opportunity, every second he had here on earth to be with ourselves. I mean, he told me stories about former students that, he just liked being around them in general. And I remember a story. This is a true story, what me and Arnold Landry did one time. Me and him used to compete a lot in hockey. No, he never played hockey, but he was a hockey fan of the Montreal Canadiens at the time, and I was a Toronto Maple Leafs fan at the time. And back in 1993, we all know that the Toronto Maple Leafs got screwed out of the Stanley Cup because Wayne Gretzky had to have his last hurrah with the Los Angeles Kings for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Arnold was a big Montreal fan, and this one day I biked from Porter's Lake all the way to Gatesbrook Junior High, and we had no lock for our mountain bikes. And I said, well, we can't lock my bike outside. We got no lock. We got to have a place to store it. And I remember Arnold coming up to me. He said, Adam, let me get this straight. You plan a big bike ride to go to school. You're going to bike from Porter's Lake to Gatesbrook, but you got no lock to lock your bike up. He said, tell me if this makes any sense, which it didn't. He said, I'll tell you what, Adam, I got a wood shop. You can bring your bike inside. You can store it in a wood shop. I said, all right. But Arnold goes, Adam, I'm going to ask you a question. I go, what's that? Who's your favorite hockey team? And me being a Toronto Maple Leaf fan and him being a Montreal fan, what he was doing. He's pitting your back against the wall. He's trying to get you to say something but you don't want to say. And I said it slowly, Montreal. I go, finally blurted out Montreal. He roared out laughing. He said, boy, Adam, I'd love to have a tape recorder with this, because this here is one of those Kodak moments. He was just laughing his head off. He couldn't get enough of it. And Arnold was a good man. I mean, there's another story about Arnold Landry that I remember. Former students may remember. He used to bike to work, and Arnold Landry lived in Cole Harbor in Kobe Village. He biked from Kobe Village all the way to Gatesbrook Junior High. He biked all along Cole Harbor, all the way along the 107 highway, right to Gatesbrook Junior High in Gatesbrook. Isn't at the end of the day, he biked from Gatesbrook all the way along the 107 highway and right back to Kobe Village where he lived. He did that quite a bit. And I remember one of the things he used to say, I remember when I biked all the way to the big stop. I said, I thought it was hard enough that every now and then I'll get on my mountain bike and I'll bike from Portage to Dartmouth. I thought that was hard enough, let alone all the way to the big stop or, from Kobe Village all the way to Gatesbrook Junior High. I mean, that's a long haul. When I biked from Portage to Dartmouth, the normal time span is an hour and a half. If the wind is not hard. If the wind is blowing hard, you're looking at 2 hours. If it's not, you're looking at an hour and a half. And I remember I talked to Arnold about it. He said, I know that sounds about right. That sounds about right. An hour and a half if the wind is not strong and if the weather is good to go. Because he said one of the things that he had challenges with was the wind and people driving who shouldn't be driving in the first place. How they got their driver's license, we'll never know. Which I had to agree with them on. But Arnold Landry passed away on October 22nd of this year. He'd been battling cancer, so all you students that went to school at Gatesbrook Junior High from 1994 to 1999, and all you students that went to Eastern Shore District High from 1994 to 1999, if you had Arnold Landry as your woodshop tech ed teacher, I'm hereby informing you to let you know that on October 22nd of this year, at the age of 75, Arnold Landry had passed away. Some students had been shocked, but at the same time, like myself, like I always say, we all have our time to go. And I looked at life as a jail sentence. And, I questioned a lot of things, but Arnold Landry was a guy that loved every second and every minute of his time here on Earth. I mean, normally teachers, you got their favorite students, and there's certain students that they don't like. Arnold told me, he said, Adam, I loved every minute of it. Every minute, every student I had, he said, Adam, I was just hoping that time frame didn't have a time lapse on it or it wouldn't collapse because I'd do it all over again. I'm a guy, once I'm out the door, I'm gone for good. If you're lucky enough, you might get me back. But Arnold was a guy that loved every minute of it. I mean, Arnold Landry was a big supporter of my political push. He said, Adam, get out there and run. Because you're the only person that's telling the truth up as it is, and then the current elected officials don't like it because the truth is getting out to the general public, and they do not want the general public to be aware of what's really going on. And he said the worst thing what could happen is somebody that's literally going to go up there and do what they say they're going to do and be truthful, because that's the one thing what politicians fear the most. And he said, here you are, a former student of my own, now politically involved, you were Justin Trudeau, you don't make sense. The only thing missing is why are you not the candidate running? And he said, get up there and do it. So I may actually do it, and but it all comes down to the people if they're willing to vote for change and all. If they're going to give people an opportunity, like I told people on District 2, the reason why David Hensby got reelected as councillor and the reason why Kevin Murphy got elected as MLA, again, is because they won, because the vote was cut in half, and because the people do not want to accept change. Don't want to make that movement when they have to. And that is why our community is struggling and suffering, and it is. So, Arnold Landry had passed away on October 22nd at the age of 75. So all you former students of his, we're hereby informing you that he had passed away on October 22nd of this year.